Good morning!
The launch was a big success.
They are the best iPhones we've ever done.
Reviewers praise the iPhone 6 for everything it does well, but now criticism over something it shouldn't do. Bend.
Hello, and welcome to the Cultcast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Arifan Elijah, joined by a fantastic panel today. Buster Hine is here. Buster.
Yo, yo.
Leander Caney is here for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Leander. You never know how long Leander will stick around, but we'll see what happens. Alex Excelsior Heath is here. Alex.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Hey, it's been a while.
It's been a long time since you've been on. Not quite long enough, actually.
I know. Believe me, I know.
I'm joking. I'm happy to have you back. So much stuff to talk about. Oh my gosh. We're, of course, going to be speaking about Bendghazi. The Bendghazi episode. We're going to be talking about iOS 8.0.1 and why all of you probably already know you should not download it yet. And then lots of other Apple stories here. We're going to be giving our full reviews. We've all had, well, not we've all. Most people on the show have had a full 7 days to review the phone, yours truly excluded. So we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of iPhone 6 versus 6 Plus since we've all had a chance to use it. Even I have had a chance to use it now. Before we hop into everything, though, I want to thank lynda.com for supporting this episode. That's lynda.com/cultcast. Lynda has almost 3,000 high-quality video courses for you to choose from, taught by industry-leading experts. Lynda.com will help you master virtually any application all at your own time and at your own pace. Learn all you want for free with a 7-day free trial. Head on over to lynda.com/cultcast. I also want to thank Smile Software and PDF Pen Scan Plus for supporting this episode. Did you know that with PDF Pen Scan Plus, you can scan documents directly into your iPhone or iPad? That's right, you can digitize all those paper bits you have lying around. You can also OCR them so that they're fully searchable and easy to hunt down when you need them. Check out smilesoftware.com/cultcast. You can see PDF Pen Scan Plus in action and learn more about it. I want to thank Smile Software for supporting this episode. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about Bendghazi.
Oh.
This is such, you know what's funny is when I first heard this story, I just thought it was absolutely so stupid. I was like, there's obviously people who are sitting on their phones and now they're blaming Apple for making the phone too thin. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Do you think there's any credence to this whole, iPhone bending situation? Buster, what do you think?
I think for a very few amount of people, I think they probably did get their iPhones bent, but I think it's been blown way out of proportion.
So you don't think this is a big deal?
No, I think
it's
it's
Antennagate.
the same.
2.0.
It's Antennagate, it's Purplegate, it's Scuffgate, and all the other ones. Just like every iPhone launch has had some disastrous problem,
Yeah.
Well,
Leander, your thoughts?
Yeah, it goes all the way back to do you remember the first iPod? And funny enough, Casey Neistat, who we're going to be talking about later, him and his brother made a video called Apple's Dirty Secret. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the internet's first, real viral videos. It was about how you can't replace the battery in your iPod. Mm-hmm. And this racked up I think like a million views, but that's like a million with, with an Austin Powers, pinky in your between your lips. That was when a million was a lot. And, you can think about just about every major Apple product has had some kind of media firestorm associated with it. It's almost knee-jerk.
It's like status quo now. It's like major launch, and then everyone figures out the one little thing that might be wrong, and then it's like, the hot news for 7 days afterwards.
Right. Well, it was last year with the 5S. Was that Purple Haze with the purple camera?
Purple Haze. Yeah, man. That's right. When people were mad, they were pointing their iPhones directly at the sun, and surprisingly, that caused an issue.
That pictures came up with a lens flare.
That's right.
But it's a media phenomenon, right?
It is.
It happens with every single product. I mean, of course, they benefit from this huge media exposure. So like the lines and the launch. There was not one person on the planet that didn't know Apple just came out with some new iPhones.
Yeah, right.
And so, this kind of thing blows up too. This kind of criticism. So it's part and parcel of the same thing.
Alex, what are your thoughts? Bendghazi.
You're sitting on it wrong.
You think or your jeans are too tight.
No, I think if Steve Jobs was alive, he'd say you're sitting on it wrong.
Well, okay, probably should have done a better. I should have done a better job explaining what some people were mad about. So people are complaining that the phone in their front pocket is the one that's bending. Yeah. So people aren't even sitting on this thing. Obviously, if you weigh 400 pounds and you sit on your phone in your back pocket, that's going to break it, no matter what it's made out of. But if it's sitting in people's front pockets and that's bending it, that's a legitimate problem. And
it doesn't surprise me too much because the 6 Plus is so huge and you have this bigger surface area, and then you have like the tension of your clothes like pressing down against that and your flesh like while you're sitting. So it's not a huge, it shouldn't bend, but I don't think it's a huge concern.
Did you know if I go out to the hood of my car and push in on it, I can also bend that?
Like, like taking the iPhone 6 Plus and like pushing on it as hard as you can, like till your fingers are shaking a bit, like, oh my gosh, it's bending. There's a problem here.
Until there's big veins coming out of your forehead and other places.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like you're exaggerating a bit.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So our pal, Unbox Therapy on YouTube, Lewis Helsentager, did this video where he filmed himself bending the iPhone 6 Plus.
What's up, guys? Lou here, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing the official iPhone 6 Plus bend test.
And, he put it between his hands, and he pressed up on it with his thumbs, and sure enough, the thing bent. But I thought what was valid about that video was that when he started that test because he noticed that after the phone had been in his pocket for several days, it was already bent. So that's what made him think, wait a second, is there a problem with this? And then so he bent it more, and sure enough, that did bend it.
Did he notice that his was bent, or did he just see the other Mac Rumors commenters who had said that theirs were bending slightly?
In his video, he said he noticed that his own phone was bent. So that's what made him think to do this video where he, of course, bent it with his hands. And, of course he bent it with his hands, dude. I mean, my hands are extraordinarily powerful. I can bend literally anything with my hands. Freaking rebar. I mean, a napkin dispenser is made of stainless steel, let alone an iPhone. That would be easy work for me. So that doesn't surprise me. Doesn't matter.
My point is just that you can inflict a lot of damage on the iPhone yourself. Like, I could slam it to the ground and be like, oh my gosh, the display broke. What the hell, Apple? Come on.
Exactly. So I think what I'm trying to determine is this just a silly press thing that's happening that's going around, like Leander, you were saying, it just blows up?
Oh my gosh.
Or is this a legitimate issue? Are some people having a legitimate issue?
This is absolutely ridiculous. This is like the most ridiculous hashtag
ridiculous
that the iPhone is like, because Antennagate even didn't make much sense, but it made a little bit of sense. Like, okay, maybe it is possible that it's just a bad design, that when you hold it naturally it cuts the reception off. Okay. But this is like, it's the equivalent of, like I said, saying that your car manufacturer should have to recall all its vehicles because if you go out and press it on the hood, it's going to bend. Right. Like what?
But Alex, I mean, I think the argument is some people are using it normally. They're putting it in their front pocket and using it as they go about their day, and that's actually damaging it.
Yeah.
The phone, okay, there's the thing though. The phone is so big. Like, do you honestly think it's designed to fit comfortably in your front pocket? It's like a freaking iPad. Like
now you're starting to kind of sound like Steve Jobs.
I know. I'm channeling my inner Jobs, but I mean,
your problem is your jeans. You need to change your jeans. That's the problem. Did you not buy the iCargo pants that we released on the website?
I intentionally moved up from skin tight skinny jeans to semi tight skinny jeans. Because I knew this was going to happen.
I'm now wearing my cool skateboarder pants from the mid-'90s again, and that were super baggy just so I could carry this phone around.
But I can just say that I'm so grateful that I bought the iPhone 6 that doesn't have bending problems, and I've just been carrying on my normal life with no bentness.
You got the gold one, right?
Oh, of course I got the gold.
Yeah, that's
gold
right.
is best.
I remember now. That's right. You would get the gold one.
Gold is best.
So I haven't gotten my iPhone 6 Plus yet. It's we'll talk about this in a second. It was just a nightmare to get my hands on this, but I guess it's actually being delivered today. And for those of you who listen to the show for a long time, you know that odds are it's going to show up right in the middle of the recording, and my dog will go insane once it gets here because she doesn't like anyone approaching the house. So if you hear a dog going crazy, that's why my iPhone 6 Plus has arrived. Buster, have you noticed any issues with yours getting bent or anything like that since you actually have the 6 Plus?
No,
and you wear tight jeans?
Yeah, I wear super tight jeans, really short shorts.
I can vouch
It's been
for
squeezed
that.
all over my body, and it's still fine.
Actually, Buster was during the testing phase. He actually inserted it into his butt cheek crack and then sat down on it. And I don't think that damaged it, did it, Buster?
Oh no, I retrieved it too. It actually cleans really well.
So, and no bends at all.
None.
See, so I hear you describe it, and I'm like, okay, this is obviously just a stupid problem that only a very small amount of people, for some reason, are having.
Well,
but
I think some people have legitimately had that problem, and perhaps there are a few like cases that have like a weak metal or something like that, and I think Apple will probably replace it for free.
You think so?
Oh yeah, totally. I think it'll
think so.
like.
I don't think they will, man. I mean, if you went in there
dude.
and your phone was bent, I mean, I don't know. Actually,
all the iPhone 5S and 5 frames that were bent or warped, they would replace those. No
Really?
question. Yeah.
okay.
I
So
asked a Genius guy today if they had seen any people come in like with complaints, and he said he hadn't seen anything except on tech sites.
So it's not a real
Except
world
now,
problem,
except now today, it's all over the mainstream news, right? Lewis is doing all those
Lou's
interviews.
video is exploding. It has what is it? 24 hours old. He has like almost 8.5 million views or something already. And we actually tried to get him on the show today, and he couldn't because he's been doing like national press all day long. He's been on every major national news program has asked him to come on and talk about how when he squeezed his iPhone between his hands as hard as he could, literally as hard as he could, that it actually bent. And this is like a top news story. I
That's
remember
the American dream.
that's it right there. John Gruber on Daring Fireball actually saw the video and said that Lou was a jackass for even trying this. He was so mad that this video was getting as much attention as it is. He actually called. I don't think he knows who Louis Helsenteger is. He's like, this guy's a jackass. Of course it's gonna bend. So people are getting up in arms about this. I mean, I guess it's silly. It's like if you try to bend your phone between your hands, of course. It's going to bend. So I did an informal poll of our Twitter followers. Every single person that responded said they were having zero issues.
It's interesting though. We're trying to reach out to some industrial designers and see what kind of testing Apple likely put the phone through, because there was I was watching a Samsung video of all the tests that they put like the S4 through, right, which is another big phone, and they did everything. They baked it in an oven. They have a robot that constantly drops it from a certain height onto a steel floor.
I like they have a robot do that.
There's an interesting video out there of all the tests they put the phones through, but bending isn't one of them on this video.
I saw Square Trade. They said that they never take bending into account either, as far as like their damages go and stuff.
Yeah. So, it might be one of those things that is just cropped, has really sort of cropped up for the first time, that this is one of the things that they got to...
Like it might be a new phenomenon, you're saying.
Yeah,
There's never been
Exactly.
a phone thin enough that you could bend it.
That's right. Because if it was shorter, it would be much harder to bend it, right? So if it's longer, those support, whatever they use to support the phone, have to be reinforced somehow.
Right, it's getting thinner and bigger, so it's that makes sense. It'll be interesting to see, because I think if the whole Bendgate thing would have gone where it did yesterday when all the tech sites were reporting it and then it just stopped there, I think Apple would have never said anything. But now that it's all over the mainstream press, I think
they have to say something.
Yeah, Apple's going to have to do something. I don't think they're going to hold a emergency conference like they did for Antennagate, but they're going to have to do something to kind of put this to rest, because
they're going to have to give out free stainless steel cases to everybody, like the rubber bumpers, to protect the antenna.
Right.
This is going to be some kind of super rigid exoskeleton.
I'm sure they're hard at work on that design right now. Well, the funny thing is that if Lou had never made this video, I kind of think this wouldn't have blown up as big as it was. I mean,
it's the Consumer Reports. Yeah.
I mean, everyone is referencing this YouTube video. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. YouTube.com/unbox therapy. And he also just tested the iPhone 6, I think. Buster, were you just saying that? And then also he tested an Android phone, which is made entirely of plastic, and surprise, surprise, it did not bend. Even
somebody
unbent.
did test the Galaxy S4, and that totally bent and broke.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Well, Buster, you have a gallery of all
crap.
these different bent smartphones, right? Got the iPhone 5 and all these HTCs and the Xperia.
Tons of all metal phones have had a history of like bending problems with users.
I think my favorite part about this whole story, Buster, is your headline or your leading paragraph on Call to Mac, where you say Bendgate is slowly taking over the internet this morning as Apple fans everywhere discover the startling fact that when pressure is applied to the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus frame, it bends, just like every other smartphone ever made of metal. Just the right amount of snark. Hat tip.
Thanks.
To you, sir. Okay, well, let's move on from Bendghazi. I'm sure we'll be talking about this next week, and I'm interested to see if in my tight jeans my phone bends, and you can be sure I will tell you if it does. Before we move on, I want to thank Linda for supporting this episode. Lynda.com/cultcast, LYNDA.com. Can I tell you guys a little story? And I bet you're not even going to believe me. I have a friend who shall go unnamed who was in a field of technology that really wasn't making him very much money. So he took some classes, and he also did some Lynda.com videos. And he worked hard, improved his skill set, and he went from making, decent money to making over $90K a year in about 12 months. And you might be thinking, there's no way that's true. In certain technology fields, he learned prostitution from Lynda.com. They have a whole video on that. He learned a lot of his skills from this class, but he also, used Lynda.com, as I said, and learned all about design, about front-end development. That's what he's doing now. HTML5, JavaScript, CSS, these really hot in-demand skills. And he now has a great job that he really likes a lot. That could be your story. I mean, Lynda.com has almost 3,000 online video courses now that you could choose from, covering everything. I mean, not just technology. They do design, they do photography. You can learn virtually any application on the planet, all by their expertly taught video tutorials. And they also have an iPhone and iPad app, so you can learn on the go. And one of my other favorite features is they have all their videos closed captioned. So if there's something that you're trying to search for, you don't quite remember which video course it was in, because Lynda.com has all that indexed, you can actually search for something that you thought was said in a video, and Lynda.com will bring you that specific segment in the search so you can rewatch it. That's the power of their search. So you can rewatch any of the segments anytime, anywhere you want, all at your own pace. Fantastic product. I use it still to keep my skills sharp. Check them out, Lynda.com/cultcast. That's LYNDA.com/cultcast. I always say I love Linda, and Leander loves it when I say that. But it's definitely true. And if you're trying to keep your skills sharp, go check them out. Thank you, Linda, for supporting this episode. Okay, another hot off the press news item. Man, this has not been a good couple days for Apple. So let's talk about iOS 8.0.1. Gee, what a
man, Katie
rough
Cotton
couple
is pulling her hair
days. Yes, seriously. No, she's on a beach somewhere drinking something from a coconut. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
So, iOS 8.0.1, if you haven't installed it already, don't. It was released today, and do you guys know exactly what it was supposed to make better? What did it fix?
It's supposed to fix HealthKit, third-party keyboards, and a couple other things.
Okay, so a lot of like smaller, medium to minor
fixes.
repairs. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just about to install this thing, actually, and Twitter blew up with everyone saying they were having problems as soon as they installed it. So, Buster, people started installing it, and what was going wrong?
You couldn't make phone calls. Touch ID stopped working.
Oh, my gosh.
And it took Apple forever to pull it down so people would stop downloading it, too. So so people started complaining, and Bendgate all over.
So you can't actually download it anymore. They pulled it.
They finally did pull it, yeah.
Okay.
It actually installed Android on your device.
Why are all these Windows Metro icons on my phone? Whoops. So it broke people's phones. I'm sure they'll have this fixed fast. I'm assuming within a couple days. This is a huge embarrassment for them, I think.
Yeah, they don't do this. Doesn't happen very often. This has happened once, twice before.
Yeah,
I can't even remember this happening before.
It's happened once before, pretty sure. And they did it once with Mac OS 10. In fact, that was a huge... what's another word for SH? A vowel T storm.
A cluster storm.
I'm trying to sound out in my mind what you're trying to say, and I
I can't think of another word for it. But there was another storm about that because that was erasing people's drives. That was a few years ago now, though.
I do recall that. Yes. So, if people have the new iOS 8.0.1 installed, I heard that you could uninstall it, right?
Yeah.
And does that actually fix the problem? Do you guys know?
Well, you just downgrade back to iOS 8.
It's as easy as that, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But does it wipe everything?
No, just back up your phone and then downgrade back to iOS 8.
It's really easy, Leander. You just reinstall iOS 8. It erases everything on your device. You get charged another activation fee from AT&T as soon as it gets reactivated. And then, boom, you're set. So I don't know why you're making a big deal out of this.
Don't forget YouTube gets put back on your phone.
YouTube gets put back on your phone. And plays nonstop on repeat.
Oh, really? That's
Which,
great.
in my opinion, is a good thing. So you guys all need to quit your whining and just install iOS 8 and be happy and pay your activation fee over again. So, yeah, don't install that. Let's see here. Let's move on. Do you guys actually want to just talk about, Leander, I want to be sensitive to your time because I know you might need to take off. So I want to talk about the initial launch and trying to get my hands on an iPhone 6, which was an absolute disaster. But why don't we talk about our actual reviews of the phone first, since I know you might need to go. So, Leander, you have a 6. Alex, you have both now.
Well, I reviewed the 6, but I actually have the 6 Plus.
Oh, so you have both.
Yeah.
Derp, you told me that before we hit record, and I immediately forgot. Alex has a 6. Buster has a 6 Plus. So, guys, actually, I'm going to start with you, Leander, since you actually got to use both. Which one's better?
I personally...
because we know what you said on cultamac.com, so I'm just curious what you actually think.
I think for most people, everyone's reaction to the 6 Plus is exactly the same. Oh my God, that's too big.
It's huge.
That's way too big for me. Yeah. Everyone says exactly the same thing. And, the 6 is big enough to be like a big step up. Mm-hmm. The first thing you do is you go, is that really the small one? Wow. That's a really big size difference from everything that came before. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it's funny. It's like comical how small the 5 and the 5, especially like a 4, some of the older ones.
Yeah.
They seem really implausibly small. You're like, oh my God, were they really that small? Yeah. And that's only just after, a few days. But the 6 Plus, I like it a lot. I've had it in my back pocket and I've been sitting on it. Because I'm totally nervous every time I pull it out, and I actually check it, against the table or whatever. I hold it up to make sure it's still straight. But I like the big screen. I like, the extra things you can do with the UI. I'm totally in love with the fingerprint sensor, which works for me for the first time ever.
It does work a lot better.
Yeah, it's a lot better. It never worked for me before, and I was totally missing out. I was like, and now I'm like, how did I ever live without this?
So you tested the 6. You wrote a review on Cultamac, which I will remind you. The headline was "Bigger is not always better."
Right.
And then you went on to say why everyone should not buy the 6 Plus. They should just get the 6. You went on and 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 on. So now you don't feel that way.
Well, no, I do. I think the 6 is an awesome phone, but there's a couple of things. The bigger screen is the major reason you're going to go for the Plus.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, it's too big.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence, quite honestly. I mean, it really is huge. It's kind of hard to use. It's impossible to use one-handed. And I am actually a little apprehensive that I'm not going to be able to use it, one-handed without dropping it. Do you ever feel like it's just not stable in your hands, Liam?
Yeah, it's totally unstable if you're trying to use it one-handed.
Do you have a case on it?
Yeah, I do. In fact, I immediately I sent Trace actually went back down. She was down there for launch day, and she had to go back down in the afternoon. So I asked her to buy me a case because the morning using it, I knew I was going to drop it at some point.
Yeah.
So she couldn't, she picked up one of the leather cases, which is an outrageous $45. But
is it the leather one or the silicone one?
The leather one.
The leather, it's so nice though.
It's nice, It's super
very
nice.
But then you cover the whole phone and all that beautiful industrial design.
No, you don't. It's a very elegant case. They did it for the 5S one was great too. It's the main one I use every day, and I get the brown leather one for the 6, and I love it. I love the feel of it. It's very simple.
I saw those silicone cases in the Apple Store, and it looked like a whole case full of canoes. Those things are ginormous. They're so huge, and they're sitting next to each other. It's like, where's the lake? Do you have a paddle around here? Because I'm going to go out for a freaking cruise on the lake in this thing.
Right. Yeah.
So,
you could do, when you go to the lake, just pop it off your phone and jump in.
you actually could put one under each foot and go water skiing. I'm just saying. So, Leander, anything else about the 6 Plus that makes you prefer it besides the big screen to the 6? Because I'm with you. I mean, the 6 is, I think, going to be big enough for most people. And the 6 has a huge screen. The 6 Plus is just massive. It's just a massive phone, which is why if you sneeze on it, it will bend in half.
I'm thinking, like when I first got the iPad Mini, the small iPad. So of course, like I was like, oh, this is great. This is the best iPad ever. I'm never going to go back to a regular iPad because I like this, the portability of it. And you could actually put that in a pocket, not a front pocket, but you could put it in a jacket pocket. Mm-hmm. And after about 6 months, in fact, when the iPad Air came out, when the Air came out, and of course we got one to review here in the office, but then I started realizing that I actually liked the bigger screen, but I didn't like the weight of the bulk of the old iPads. Mm-hmm. What I liked about the Mini was that it was light, but the screen was too small. And so when the Air came out, it was light, but the screen was bigger, and I liked that better. So in other words, I think it's going to take 6 months for me to get a really good feel for whether I like the big screen with all the trade-offs, i.e. the size of it. So, it sounds really wishy-washy, but, I may end up liking the 6 better further down the line.
Yeah, I think what you said about trade-offs is really true. I mean, you get the big screen, which is, of course, great. But, yeah, I mean, the phone is so unwieldy. It's just kind of hard to use and carry around. Buster, what were your thoughts? You've been using it for a week now.
I think it's kind of like a new device, actually. After you use the 6 Plus for a week and then you pick up a 5S, it just feels so tiny,
like a toy, like a child's toy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I think a lot of people would be happier with the 6 screen size. Because the 6 Plus is way too hard to use with one hand. It's not something that I'm going to walk around with on the street. And I actually think that could be a good thing is, I leave my phone behind, when I go on a dog walk because I know I don't want to use it while I'm walking around. I think it's more of going to be like this. It's this weird hybrid between phones and tablets. It's a phablet, and I think that's actually like a kind of a useful category if you're a power user.
Does it fit in your pocket? You and I have similar tightness of jeans.
Yeah, I've had no problem putting it in any of my pockets.
And you said you even went running with it, and no issues there?
Yeah, I've gone running with it a couple times now, and it fits in the pockets. It stays. It's fine.
That is really surprising to hear because that thing is so massive. It didn't paddle your nards or anything while you're jumping around?
Well, I have those well protected.
Okay. Those are well tucked away where they can't be hurt. Alex, your thoughts on the 6? So it looks like you are one of the only guys here that actually preferred the smaller phone.
I
Why
love it,
did you decide to go with
man.
the smaller one?
Because I don't want that huge size. Like I have an iPad Air. Stuff that I want to do that's like tablet-y or whatever, I'll do on the iPad Air, like reading. Although I will say that even just after a week with the 6, I've been doing way more reading on the 6 than I did on the 5S. And it's, the screen it's bigger. It's not hugely bigger at first glance, but I mean, it makes a huge difference just whatever they added. Because I read my Pocket stuff that I've got saved on the web all the time on my 6 now, and I love it. And I could even see myself reading ebooks now and then on the 6. It's a perfect size for me because it's just like it's still pocketable. I can still hold it in one hand and do everything in one hand, and I love that for reading. Watching video, I can finally see myself like loading some videos on here for trips and stuff instead of having to take my iPad. The screen looks great. I'm sure it's even better on the 6 Plus, but I got the 64 gig, so I've been having a 16 gig iPhone for the past 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
So to go from a 16 gig to a 64 gig has been like the biggest upgrade of all, like even more than the device itself, like being able to store things and like not worried about, having 2 gigs of data in my Pocket app now for reading or being able to load some videos and stuff. Like I'm going to start using it a lot more as my main computer. I find now that the only time I ever actually use my Mac is when I'm working, like when I'm writing and doing blog stuff. Like I don't need to use it for anything else. I think slowly the Mac's usefulness has just become obsolete. Like I don't need it.
Wasn't there a story recently on Cultmac where iPhone sales were actually affecting the sales of the larger computers?
Yeah.
Just echoing what you just said. I mean, to me, that kind of seems like it wouldn't be able to do that for me. We'll see once I actually get it, because I have an iPad. And I still reach for my computer all the time because it's just...
I do too because it's quicker, but I can already see that I'm starting to do so much more on the iPhone just with the 6 than I was before. Like just spending a lot more time with it, like reading, like I said, and browsing. And with iOS 8 and with extensions, that's making all the difference too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
iOS 8's extension feature is hands down my favorite feature. I mean, being able to like add stuff to Evernote, add stuff to Pocket from Safari is fantastic.
I think we have yet to see the coolest implementations of this. I think it's very early, and there's a lot of developers, excuse me, that I've been talking to even that are working on stuff that I think is going to be a lot more impressive than what we've seen at launch. I think is very much a beta type of phase for extensions. People are trying to figure out how to use them. Like have you guys seen some of the notification center widgets and stuff that have been coming out? They're kind of dumb. They don't do anything.
The only thing that I saw so far that I actually thought was useful is YouTube actually sent me a notification that said one of the people that I subscribed to had released a new video, and that was actually helpful because...
Is that an iOS 8 feature though?
I've never gotten one.
Push notification.
Well, I've never gotten one before. I mean, it like told me the name of the video and who it was.
Because in iOS 8, what you should be able to do with a notification like that is then like choose to view it later, like it, comment on it right there from the notification, because you've got these actionable notifications now, and not many apps are doing this, but like the official Twitter app will let you favorite and retweet from a notification as it comes in and stuff like that. So we're going to start seeing apps be a lot more smarter, and you'll be able to use them in a lot more places, which I'm excited about.
So you're saying that maybe YouTube just updated the app to make...
Yeah, I think you just got a notification for the first time.
Hey, shut up, Alex. Oh, guys. Oh, we lost Alex. Whoops. Oh, are you still there? Let me try again here.
I see it. The Comcast gods.
Yeah. Oh, dude, sorry. Comcast. It's Comcast's fault. We lost Alex. He'll never be on the show again. I can't call him back.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other thoughts on iPhone 6 Plus, iPhone 6 before we move on? Buster or Leander?
Nah.
We could just have awkward silence instead.
Well, the design of the thing, I think, it's like, it's not as distinctive as the iPhone 5. And looking back on it, like I really liked the industrial design of the iPhone 5. It had a lot of personality. Mm-hmm. It was, you knew immediately that it was an iPhone 5. It was like no other phone out there, that cold steel and the sharp edges of the glass. It's a beautiful piece of engineering. I mean, it really is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little bit like the Tron lines of it's all soft and molded now. And it kind of feels a little bit, and it feels a lot more feminine, which is not
right
the
up your
worst
alley?
thing.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Well, you could tell if it was sharp and hard, it wouldn't, at that size, it wouldn't be comfortable.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's a little more. It's kind of like every other Android phone out there.
I kind of agree with you.
I love the rounded design.
I do too. I love the rounded design too. But I feel like it is slightly more generic than previous phones have been.
I feel it's like,
I don't know.
I think it's revisiting the original iPhone design, kind of perfecting that to its maximum. I agree. Like the antenna lines are ugly, but once you slap a case on it, you never notice.
Can we all agree though? This is the best iPhone they've ever made. I mean, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, everything has been upgraded. It's faster. It's stronger. It's lighter.
Super
it's thinner.
fast,
It's bigger. It's the screen's better. It's got more RAM. It's got more storage.
Yeah.
I mean, it has Touch ID. It has the second generation motion coprocessor. I mean, like, hands down, the absolute best iPhone they've ever made.
Yeah,
and I think, Buster, to your point, it does kind of feel like this is the reinvention of the first iPhone.
Yeah.
To me.
It definitely goes back to that rounded design, and it seems like it's kind of harkening back to that. One thing I want to say about the gold, which I didn't mean to get, it was the only one they had in my size at AT&T at the time.
Oh, so you didn't specifically seek that one out?
No.
I don't believe
I wanted
you.
space gray. But I will say, girls that have been seeing my phone out and about love the gold one. Seriously.
That I fully believe.
It's gotten me like at least half a number. which is a huge upgrade from the past. But
That's like 3 more digits than
I
we got before.
I really think the gold one looks like a fashion item. Like it's like on the back, the way they did the gold and everything. I don't know. Leander, was your 6 a gold one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in the 6. We got the 6 Plus 2 in gold as well.
Didn't your wife make you get that color, Leander?
Beg your pardon?
Didn't your wife make you get that color? You didn't choose that
Yeah,
color,
yeah,
did you?
she wanted the gold, no doubt about it. Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's gold. No, and
Yeah,
no color at all.
the females love the gold. It's very girly, I guess, which I feel terrible having one now, but you know,
sure
whatever.
you do.
I'll embrace my own side.
Sure you do. Sure you do, Alex.
Siri just recorded that.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, it's cutting in and out a little bit. I also want to mention before we wrap up on the iPhone talk that DisplayMate did some tests of both the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. And basically, their conclusion was they were the highest quality displays they had ever seen on a phone. The 6 Plus beat out the 6 by just a little bit, but they gave both screens excellent ratings and were really impressed by them and gushed on and on and on about them. So as far as screens go, when it comes to mobile devices, these are kind of the best that you're going to have access to. Oh, Leander, did you notice any significant difference between the 6 and the 6 Plus?
In the terms of the screen?
Yeah.
No, but you know,
You're blind as a bat, you said.
Yeah, exactly. So
He only sees 3 colors, and they're not even like the primary colors.
I know, you know, some people are going on about how the iPad Mini wasn't Retina, and remember John Brownlee wrote a review about that, and it was like he could barely bear to look at it. It was just an offense to his eyes.
I wasn't as offended as he was, but I definitely noticed it. Like it just wasn't as vibrant.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You know, I'm definitely not a snob like that. But I'll tell you one thing that you know, looking at this video on the iPhone 6 Plus is just glorious. Yeah, my kids have recorded a bunch of slow-mo videos, and we went out for dinner on Saturday night, and we were passing it around, and it was, you know, absolutely fantastic. Everyone around the table was like watching these videos. It looks absolutely beautiful. It's like passing around a small HD TV.
Yeah,
I was
truly.
like, sitting there, I was like, oh my God, this is so sci-fi. You know, we're so living in this weird future that you could never imagine a few years ago. And definitely the Plus, I think, like you were saying earlier, is going to be, it's the new computer. It's the new laptop. It's going to be some people's only computing device.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how many people are going to just go with this instead of an iPad as well.
Right,
Because
exactly.
really, I'm kind of waiting to see how I feel about my iPad Mini once I have my Plus, because they're so similar.
I was just going to say, doesn't the 12-inch like iPad Pro rumor make a lot more sense now? Because they're wanting to differentiate more. Like,
Yeah.
I think there was a rumor recently that they're going to be holding off on the Mini until early next year with the iPad Pro, so that they can give people some time to play with the 6 Plus and kind of not associate the two together. And then I think I can really see why they would want to get into a bigger size iPad, getting more towards the laptop,
Yeah.
like making it more work friendly, more of a power
Right.
horse.
Especially if it's multi-screen, you know,
Right.
whatever.
Split screen, right.
Split screen, yeah.
I think, though, people will still go for the iPad Mini. I mean, it still is a different device in that it's not as high quality, it's not nearly as expensive, and you know, it's because it doesn't cost as much. It's much more affordable, and people aren't going to be able to spend $1,200 on an iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah.
As opposed to an iPad Mini, which is what, like $400 now. So
It's true. The price is a big difference,
Yeah, the
although
price
with
is gonna be
contract it's not. But I mean, have you guys thought about what this means for iPad apps in general? Like, is there going to even be an iPad only app in the future? I can see Apple saying, you know what, an app is an app, because they've got this new adaptive layout stuff with iOS 8, and they're wanting developers to make apps to scale.
Well, I
to
think
any
with
size
adaptive
anyway.
layout, that's a great point. That they probably are moving towards that, where you just
Yeah.
make an app, it has an adaptive layout, and it works on whatever device that you're using it on.
You're right, because the
Yeah.
App Store is still split. You know, they've still got the iPad App Store and the iPhone, iPod Touch App Store. When does that blur? You know, we've got pretty soon you're going to be able to stack these little rectangles in a line, and they're going to hit every single size point. And it's like, when does that become an iPad? When does it like the
Wait,
phone?
I just
Okay.
realized is that's kind of like the Windows strategy. So Apple's moving towards Windows, and Windows is moving towards Apple.
Tim Cook is the new Steve Ballmer.
Tim Cook is going to start yelling developers on stage at WWDC next year. It's all coming together. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up on the iPhone 6 chat. Before we move on, I do want to talk about pre-sales. Leander, are you going to be able to hang around for this conversation?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a freaking frustrating experience this has been. Before we talk about the pre-order and the release day nightmare, I want to thank Smile Software for supporting this episode. Hey, have you ever had some pieces of paper, maybe like receipts, important documents that you have lying around that you're not really sure what to do with? You don't want to file them away, but you want to be able to refer to them later on. You want to be able to search for them easily in the future. That's what PDF Pen Scan Plus does really well. It allows you to use your iPhone or your iPad to snap a picture of whatever document you have lying around and create multi-page or single-page PDFs. And it will even OCR the entire document, which means it'll go through all of the scanned text and actually turn it into real text. So you can search that document, reference it later, and you can also copy and paste that text in whatever document you're looking at into other documents. Let's say you want to send something in an email and you want to just use the text. It makes it really easy to do. Not only that, but PDF Pen Scan Plus interfaces easily with all of the different places you like to store your documents, like Dropbox, iCloud storage. You can connect it with Google Drive, so you can share these documents really, really easily. I think it's a fantastic app. It works very, very well. And if you want to check it out, see more about it, head on over to smilesoftware.com/cultcast. You can see a video on what it does, how it works, and you can also read more about it. I want to thank Smile Software for supporting this episode, smilesoftware.com/cultcast. All right, guys, let's talk about D-Day, the day that I woke up at 5:30 a.m., I woke up at 5:30 a.m. and I drove my arse to an Apple store 10 miles away. I got there and there was already 300 people, not three, 300
Look
people
about personal problems, yeah.
lined up. I waited in that line for 6.5 hours. It was a disaster. I mean, just absolutely, this Apple store was so disorganized. They didn't have any phones. They weren't moving the line. The AT&T servers, activation servers kept crashing. And I was surprised to see, it seemed like virtually everyone there was there to buy the phone and then sell it on eBay or ship it to another country. And like many of the reports that I saw on Twitter, it seemed like our line was a very unusually high concentration of Asian people, especially at the very front of the line, where I would say probably a third of the line was 100% Asian, which in Seattle is kind of unusual. After reading Twitter for a little while, it started to become clear this is actually pretty common all around the United States. And normally I wouldn't think anything of it, except that a lot of these people didn't really look like people that would be really excited about like the iPhone 6, like older people, people in their 60s plus.
You mean they weren't fanboys?
They weren't fanboys that get there at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, we shouldn't say, it's not fair to say they were Asian people, because there was a lot of Asian people in line, and some of them, wanted to get iPhones. Like Tracy was here in San Francisco, and the first third of the line was a big, huge line here in San Francisco. The first third of the line, there was a lot of older Asian people who were clearly, like Buster says, not buying the phone for themselves. And Tracy went to talk to them, and they all had these BS stories about how they wanted it for this feature or that feature. But
yeah,
they were clearly lines as they could barely afford to go on the bus. You can tell by the clothes, the fact that they're in large groups, and then of course Casey Neistat made that video.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up.
So you're number one in line? Number one.
So this guy made a video about a line in New York City, and he actually went and talked to some of these people in line. And my favorite was like the person at the very front was like an elderly Asian woman. She had to be in her late 60s. She didn't speak any English. And he was asking her like if she was a big Apple fan. She didn't even know what he was asking. And then he followed these people throughout the buying process. They were paying all in cash. And at the end, when they had their phones, they met up with a guy outside and they handed their phone to him. And this guy walked away with shopping bags full of iPhone 6s. So is it not very obvious, Leander? It's like there's a major black market problem here.
He got dinged, and I think quite rightly, because for a couple of things. One of them was saying that this is black market. Well, for one, it's not black market because it's not illegal. They're buying the phones.
Sorry, gray market.
Gray market, and they're reselling them, and it's because they're not going on sale in China. And there's, I think, a huge market of a lot of rich consumers in China who can't get their hands on it first day. So, there's people who are being paid to sit in line to get these. And also, like when you say things like, I don't know, you got to be very careful to make any kind of racial generalizations. In other words, not every Asian person in line for the iPhone 6 is going to resell it. I mean,
no, China is...
No, but a lot of them were, Leander. I mean, I went up and down our line too, and I talked to different people, and literally everyone around me, not just Asian people, everyone that was around me, even college kids, they were all there to buy the phone and resell it.
Well, right, and that's capitalism, right? That's just, there's a lot of people... no one mentioned the fact that there was, like you said, a bunch of college kids who were going to resell them on eBay or on Craigslist, and no one made that that has not been made into an issue.
Right.
So there is totally a racial element here, right? Mm-hmm. It's only controversial if Chinese people are buying them and reselling them, but no one cares about the white college kid that's buying it and reselling it.
That's because it's available for sale in the U.S. It's not available for sale in China, which lends news to this. And I mean, you also have the complexity of the fact that the supply chains over there, and the poverty and the racial divide, all the social divides that are existing in that country. And back to the point about it being gray market, I mean, there is some legality to be questioned there because they're not paying taxes. They're not doing the proper way of importing goods into the country when they're doing this. So it's not necessarily black market, but because it's not like the product has been banned in the country, but it's not fully legal. It's not the way China would probably like it to happen.
Look, I don't care if it's legal or not. I don't care if you're selling these things out of the country and taking them to China or whatever other country they're taking them to sell them. It just sucks to get up at 5:30 in the morning and have people there that are not even buying it for themselves. They're sending it to another country, or they're selling it to, like their friend or something, or on eBay. And I went back on Saturday morning, exact same thing over again. Every single person in line was there to buy it and sell. I was surrounded by homeless guys. I'm not even joking. Homeless guys in line. So after a while, I struck up a conversation with these guys, and I'm like, hey, you guys decided to get the phone. Sure enough, they're like, oh, we're not buying it for us. We saw an ad on Craigslist this guy had posted asking people to stand in line. So he's paying these people to stand in line. And he had like 20 of them all throughout the line. And he finally came over because he kept coming over to like give these guys instructions on like what to do and buy this, buy that, don't buy this. So I struck up a conversation with this guy. He's like this kind of like tall, white, bald guy, kind of masterminding this whole thing. And I'm like, what's going on with these phones? Are you shipping these?
He
kind of reminded me of Daddy Warbucks.
No,
the guy in Vegas.
The guy in Vegas that asked us if we wanted to what. Do you remember? Never mind.
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Motorboat? Never mind.
He did ask me to motorboat him, yeah. So maybe it's the same guy. So this guy was really nice, and I was just trying to inquire, like, what are you doing with these? And he got all sheepish, and he's like, oh, well, we're buying them for our business or whatever. I'm like, what's your business? And that's when he started being a little bit more frank. He's like, well, we're shipping these, to other people. And I'm like, are they, in this country? He's like, let's just say they're over a body of water. I'm like, well, what countries? And he wouldn't tell me. But, he had like 20 guys there buying stuff for him. It was just a frustrating experience to go there as an Apple fan, to go there with my money, stand in line twice early in the morning and walk away empty-handed both times because all these people were just selling them overseas. I think it creates a bad customer experience, and there were several people in the line with me who were there to buy for themselves, and they walked away from that experience very frustrated with Apple, because Apple, I really think they need to do something about this. I mean...
Well, come on.
What are they do, though? Like, I'm sorry, you can't buy it. You're going to send it to your friends in China.
Okay,
we only allow Apple fans.
Right.
Don't they limit how many you can get? Can't you only get like 2 per person?
Exactly. Yeah, but all the guys around me, they were there for the second day. I was there on Saturday. They had all been there Friday, and they were coming back Saturday to buy more. So here, I don't know what the answer is. I just wanted to whine. I just wanted to whine so you guys can hear me whine about it. But I do know one of the Apple stores did something really smart. They had 2 lines, one for people that were buying the phone and leaving with them, and one for people that were buying the phone and activating the phone in store. I think that is a very good solution. Like, if you're here, we're going to activate the phone, and you can walk out with your phone. If you want to buy it and take it with you, stand in that 100-foot line and wait 6 hours.
Yeah, I think, aren't they all activated? I don't. they're all activated.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, anybody's just gonna. You can activate it and then leave anyway. I don't see how that makes the situation better.
Well, I think like they tie it to your AT&T account or your T-Mobile account. Whereas if you're walking, like that Casey Neistat video, like the people were walking into the store, the Apple Store. They were paying cash. They had $100 bills. They were paying cash, and they walk out with the phone, and it's not activated to their own network, right? So they just leave with an actual phone.
No, I think they have to be. I think because I don't think they're selling unlocked ones yet. So they're buying.
They're not unlocked. But but
they're buying a new one, a new line. Those are new numbers. They're not upgraders. They're not people who already have a phone
and just cancel it within the next 14 days and get the full discount on the line.
So you're saying that they make those people activate the phone on their phone numbers?
Yeah, because there's no unlocked phones yet.
Unlocked and activated are two different things. Like it can be locked to AT&T's network, but not activated on your phone number.
No,
so you walk away.
Story on this. Remember not a long time ago, maybe last year, where it was people who get a bunch of people to buy phones for them, and then the people that bought it are stuck with the fee for the new line and everything like that, and their credit's ruined, and then the seller keeps the phone.
Yeah, that was last year.
Idea.
that's all those homeless guys. That's what's going to happen to them. I mean, they're getting diddled by that guy.
Well, I don't know, because I asked them if they were paying with their own money or if the guy was buying it for them, and they're like, he's just purchasing the phone for us. We just have to
they pay for it, but it still hits your credit that gets banged for it.
Well, you think those homeless guys have credit?
Yeah, well,
they're
not worried about that.
Yeah, they stick their names down, right? They use their names to get the line. None of the phones are getting. They either have a new number, so it's a new contract, a new 2-year, 1 or 2 year contract with a carrier, or it's an upgrade to a current line, to a current account.
So you're saying you either have to upgrade your current line, or you have to start a new line to walk out of an Apple store with an iPhone. I don't know if that's true.
That is true, Irfan. It's totally true, because you can't. They're not selling unlocked, and even when they do sell unlocked, they want your number, so they put it in.
So you're saying they won't let you leave with an iPhone unless they activate it on your specific
it's
number.
not like walking out with a Mac where it's in the box the whole time, and they just take it out of the back. And
when it's pre-ordered, the serial number for that phone is tied to your account, your phone number for your AT&T account. So when you fire it up, boom, it's activates.
And that's the question. Why didn't you pre-order it?
I did. I tried. Oh, now you want me to go off on a tangent now? Oh, now it's on.
That's not a tangent. That's the question. We pre-ordered ours. Tracy walked right in. In 2 minutes, she had 3 phones.
Leander, they went on sale Friday morning, quote unquote, right? The Thursday before that, I was up at 1:30 in the morning trying to pre-order this damn phone. Apple's website was crashing constantly. AT&T's website was crashing constantly. There was no way to get an order in. And when I finally did, I got the phone that's being delivered today. It was like 4 weeks out, for delivery. And I was up the night before. I mean, what the hell else do I have to do?
Well, you didn't do that right either, because you got to order it. You didn't do it through the website. You got to do it through the app.
I was on the app. I was on my Mac. I was on every platform that was available to me. I was on it. And then the next morning, I went in at 5:30. And the morning after that, I went in at 8 in the morning.
The next morning, I went right in and ordered one for delivery at the store, the next day.
Well, I don't know what magical store you have there in San Francisco, but such a store does not exist.
Friday morning, I rolled in at 10:30, and in 20 minutes walked out with a 6. So
there you go. You're doing it wrong, Irfan.
Yeah, well, apparently I went to the wrong store because they didn't have any snacks, they didn't have any refreshments, and the line literally did not move in 6 hours. Finally, at like 12 p.m., I was like, I can't stand here anymore. I'm about to pass out from hunger, so I left.
That was fun.
And literally the line had not moved. We were all just standing there, and the manager would come out every hour and say, "Sorry guys, we're trying to get the activation service back up and online."
Why don't you get one of those guys to buy you one? One of those college kids you were standing next to.
That's what I need to do next year. I need to buy a gray market China iPhone. So a phone that's been shipped to the U.S., shipped back to China, and then I need to spend like twice the amount and get it shipped back to the U.S. That's my plan next year.
A friend of mine just bought. He's a college student. He walked in and got 3 6 Pluses and sold them on eBay to people in China, and he made like $2,000.
Wow! Nice. Wow!
Yeah. He sent me the email confirmation, and it's like really broken up English from like Shenzhen, and it's like Boss Man got his iPhone.
Well,
it looks like.
Yeah, and that bald guy. I mean, the other markets was Russia and Italy, right? Doesn't Italy have a problem?
Right.
But
no, not Italy. It's Italy. I think so.
I heard Italy. Italy, they're
there they can just hop over and go to one of the other nearby countries. I don't think it's that much of an issue there. I think it's more of an issue in Russia and China, where it's harder to get out of the country. And in China especially, there's a lot more people. Russia doesn't have anywhere near as many people. So, yeah.
I know that the iPhone 6 is in the final stages of approval in China. So hopefully their Apple Store will start carrying the iPhone 16, which I think is going to make it easier to get here in the US.
Can you imagine what their launch sales would have been if they would have been officially available?
They sold 10 million in the first weekend.
Oh, they would have been China, 15 or 20. Easy.
So the Washington Post scooped out one of the malls where the Apple Store in Beijing is.
An absolute swarm of resellers hawking Apple's latest iPhone in Hong Kong, where the new gadget is officially on sale as of today, while on the mainland, Chinese fans are still waiting.
And they saw a bunch of smugglers standing outside this kind of high-end mall, asking people as they went in if they wanted to buy an iPhone 6. And everyone was swarming these guys. And those same bags of iPhones that were featured at the end of Casey Neistat's video, boom, guess where they showed up? And they were selling the exact same bags full of iPhones for like between $1,450 to more than $2,400 for the iPhone 6. And then for the 6 Plus, it was going for $3,000 to $4,000. And they said some customers were buying multiples. Like one guy bought 12. One lady was like buying 2 or 3 at a time. And they were just selling these things like crazy. That's why I think so many people were standing in line at the front of all the different lines here in the U.S. because they could turn a nice profit selling them in China. Apparently enough to sit there and wait all night.
Right, but also Russia and some other countries too.
Yeah, it obviously wasn't just China.
Yeah.
So wait, Leander, are you saying it was just people selling the phone to China that were waiting in line? That's what you're implying here, right?
Yeah.
No, the opposite.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Definitely
That's what it sounds like you're saying. Okay. You know what? I think we should probably go ahead and wrap it up. But before we do, I want to ask you guys one quick question. Apple Care Plus, square trade warranty, or no insurance on your phone? What do you guys think?
I went back and put the Apple Care Plus on mine.
Did you?
Oh,
I need to get. Oh, thanks for reminding me. I need to get Apple Care on mine. Although I don't know, I did AT&T Next, so I'm going to be upgrading in a year. So I'm not sure if I should or not.
But if you break it in 6 months,
no.
I always break my phone, so
yeah. Buster breaks his like 6 times every year. So
yeah, you do break your phones a lot. What were you saying, Leander?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely a good idea, especially for someone like Buster, because I mean, look at Buster's history.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
It will be broken in 4 months or less. That is a fact.
There's some debate though about which is the best one to get. Like some third party insurance plans offer better accidental damage or water damage, I think. Or screen damage, and they're better deductibles as well.
Yeah, so the Apple deductible, the Apple plan, Apple Care Plus is $100, and then every incident you have is $79.
They raised it. They raised the out of warranty costs for fixing the 6 and the 6 Plus. The 6 Plus is like astronomically high. Like you're an idiot if you don't get Apple Care with a 6 Plus.
Dude, it's $100.
What?
That's a lot of money for a warranty, I think.
Oh, I know, but the cost of repair is like over $300.
Yeah, but if you think about it this way, if the cost repair is $300, you have to pay $100 for the warranty, $79 for the per incident charge. So really, you're only saving $110 if you have an accident. Yeah, so you're really not saving that much.
No,
$110 is still a good amount of money to a lot of people.
The cost of fixing a 6 Plus $329. Okay. Cost of fixing a 6 $299. Mm-hmm. So and the 5S and all that stayed the same. So if you get your your warranty for $99, you're saving $230 if you break your phone. So I mean that sounds.
So you're Apple Care Plus man.
I wasn't until now because with the 6 and the 6 Plus, I mean, I think it's worth it now.
Okay, there you have it. I might just risk it and see what happens. No case, no warranty.
Living wild.
Living on the wild side. I feel like I spent this entire episode just yelling.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
You got more heated than you do over like net neutrality and stuff.
Oh,
or, like,
no,
carriers.
you didn't. No, you didn't. Don't make me talk about net neutrality. All right, well, before I yell anymore and break my microphone, let's go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the Cultcast we have for you guys this week. Hey, make sure you come say hi to us on Twitter and tell us about which iPhone you got and how fast you broke it. I'm at Airfun. Alex is Alex E. Heath. Buster's BST3R. Leander's L. Caney. And make sure you're following Cultimac for all the best news, reviews, and how-tos in the world of Apple. This has been the Cultcast, the best 30-minute plus Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the Cultcast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. I got so heated about those iPhone 6 Plus statements you were making, Leander. I totally lost my place. I got all flustered. I was like, what? How dare you accuse me? Not knowing how to pre-order. I'm the pre-order king. Leander, which one are you keeping?
Well, I got a black 64 gig one.
But is it the 6 or the 6 Plus?
6 Plus.
Oh, really? Because you were writing that review on all how it was like, oh, bigger isn't always better.
That was a headline, you know.
Doesn't mean it's actually true.
That was my judgment for the review. I mean, I think it's true. It is a bit big and unwieldy.
Yeah. So, but when
anyway,
let's talk
about this. Let's talk about this during the thing.
Well, I thought you weren't going to stay for this part.
Well, I can't stay for like an hour and a half like they normally do.
Yeah. What are you talking about? The show is only 30 minutes.
Yeah, it hasn't been 30 minutes for 4 years.
Since 2013.
Yeah,
Since episode 2. Okay, well.
In fact, we're already 10 minutes into it.
Yeah, but this is the best part of the show.
I know.
The rest of it's going to suck.
Right.